pledge allegiance
Jeff,
to
hold,
the...
Jeff, I do prayer first.
Sorry?
Prayer. Sorry.
Thanks, that's okay. You said it clearly the first time. It's just, thanks again for the privilege of being here. My name is Tim High. I have the privilege of serving God and the people of God as the pastor of the Presbyterian Church, just west of us here. So, I will have the privilege of praying. Let us go to God in prayer. Holy One, we give you thanks for the gift of this day and for this group of women and men who gather to not just do business, but to provide leadership in the midst of this community and other communities around here. As we sit in this time ahead of one of the seasons of our favorite sports, we're reminded that the work of government is always in season. There is no off-season, there is no out-of-season, because it affects other women and men, neighbors, relatives and friends. So may there be ears to hear, and eyes to see, and hearts and minds to be able to discern what is helpful and useful in this particular garden spot of your world, for this and for that. We give you thanks in Jesus' name. Let the people of God say.
Amen.
Please join with me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys, Tim and Jeff. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the June 23rd meeting. I'm sure we've all read those.
Move to approve.
Okay, I got a first from Dustin, a second from Janie. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one is passed. Appointments, Judge Gowdy. How's Judge Gowdy?
Good afternoon, early evening members of the council.
Little button down there on the bottom.
There it is.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, early evening members of the county council. I am here to make a request
Busted.
for an additional $15,000 to the juvenile detention funds. In recent years, we did cut that budget back quite a bit, and we have had a year where we've had a couple of youth, it's really just 2 youth, that had to be detained in secure detention for a long period of time. We take very seriously juvenile justice and JDAI in particular, detaining only the right youth, the ones that have to be in secure detention. Cost is one of the reasons, but mostly because of the harmful impacts to the youth. If we can keep them here safely, we do that. So I want you to understand that we do take those decisions very seriously. We just had a couple of youth that had to have long-term stays. They had nowhere else to go for the safety of themselves or the community. And if you want to have more conversations about that, of course, I can't reveal details of who they are, but I can tell you why it happened and why this happens sometimes. But we do need 15,000 additional. The one other thing I want to point out to you is that our juvenile probation officers, one in particular, Ms. Messman, who's the director, takes very seriously trying to recoup those funds for the county. So she asks often that if the parents have the ability to pay, that they pay back to the county those secure detention fees. Now, I make that determination if they have jobs and it's not going to put them under and they won't be able to feed their children, obviously. They don't have the ability to pay if that's the situation. But if they can pay, they're working adults and they have the ability to pay those back, I do order that. And Ms. Messman, as well as other juvenile probation officers in the probation office, Lawrence County Probation Department, has collected in the last 2.5 years almost $30,000 back of those funds that were expended by the county to house juveniles in secure detention. So I just want you to keep that in mind. We don't do this willy-nilly at all. It's very serious to us when a youth has to be detained. But we are asking $15,000 additional. I welcome any questions that you might have about that.
Okay. And that's a request for 15,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Go for it.
So, the 15,000, when you put them, it says house and residential. Do those people, are they paid residential caregivers? I don't understand.
So, okay, sure. We're only talking about the youth that are put in a secure detention facility. It's basically jail for youth. So, no, not residential care. That's a separate issue, and the county is not on the hook for those dollars. The county just has to pay for secure detention
Okay.
stays. So it'd be like if a youth is harmful enough to the youth self or others in the community, we're talking your serious crimes, or maybe, you know, they're using methamphetamine, something that's a very serious issue and we have to get them out of the community, can't safely keep them here anymore. They might be a harm or a threat to their siblings or to their mom or to their dad, and they just can't come home.
Okay,
And so those are those type of youth.
thank you.
Any further questions for Judge Gotti?
Is this to cover expenses that have already occurred?
So yes, great question. Year to date remaining in the fund, you all budgeted 40,000, or we budgeted 40,000 to cover the entire year. Of that 40,000, there's $4,500 left for the year. And so we anticipate, hopefully, you know, these long holds for one single youth are very, they're not common. Okay, so that's not your usual youth. It's not our average stay, but we just had a couple of those this year. So we anticipate 15,000 could get us through the end of this year. And the budget used to call for, I believe, around 60,000, Nedra. 65,000. So a couple of years, we had really cut down our secure detention stays, and we felt we were going to try to maintain, but told you we'd have to come back if we couldn't. You just never know what youth are going to come through the doors upstairs.
Okay. Any further questions for Judge Gotti? Another one.
You show a current balance of 9,600, you said it was 4,000?
Year to date remaining, what I show from the data that I have is 4,500. That's what we have remaining.
So this was turned in June 25th, and it's a fluid fund, they use it,
Okay.
so.
Sure, and we have,
that's-
yes, it looks like, yeah, the dates just could have been that, there were a few in June that had to be detained.
At the time, on June 25th, that was the amount they had in their fund for that line.
Probably just hadn't paid the facility back yet at that point. I do think Nedra might know more, but I do think that they are a month behind.
That would be our books, and there was a claim turned in for almost $5,000.
So that's what it
Explains
is.
that.
Yeah, that's where it went. Okay, if there's no further questions, I'll call for a motion on Judge Gotti for 15,000 additional.
Motion to approve.
I've got a first from Janie.
Second.
I got a second from Larry. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Judge. Got
I
it.
really appreciate it. And if you have questions at any point, please feel free to call me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Martha Turner on stipend additional,
So
correct?
these are the additionals. The first one is for the full-time stipend in the amount of $112,500. The second one is for the part-time stipend, and this is all coming out of the supplemental lit for $8,750. And I just need the approval to be able to put the funds in the line to pay the stipends.
Okay. Any questions for Martha on this? Because we okayed that in the previous meetings, but not this. We just agreed to take it out of the supplemental. Okay, any questions for Martha? Okay,
One motion for both appropriations or two motions?
we'll do one motion for both of these.
Okay.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we already okayed it in the previous one.
I have a question
Okay.
before we vote. Is that for elected officials?
So that was something that came up in our audit.
elected officials are not allowed to receive the stipend. So the stipend that elected officials received in January, we will be paying that back according to State Board of Accounts. So we were able to stop the stipend from coming onto the elected officials' payroll for July. So, no, it will not cover any elected officials.
And the commissioners and the council didn't take it into
They did
account.
not.
No.
Correct.
I make a motion to approve
Okay,
this.
I've got a first from Janie, second from Amy.
Oh, did you have a first from Julie?
Oh, you first? I didn't hear it.
I think so.
Okay, first from Julie, second from Amy. Any further questions or comments on this one? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one passed, Martha, and that's the same motion on both of those. Okay. And then we got Brian Souders, Highway.
How we doing?
Good, how's Brian?
I'm good. I'm ready for paving season to be over, to be honest with you. I have 2 hire requests in front of you. Both come from Motor Vehicle Highway. They're replacements, not new positions. One's from District 1 truck driver and one's from District 3 truck driver. Just need approved to hire new folks.
So these are you posting them now?
I have one posted because I do have a slot still open.
Okay.
Honestly, it's people are going for more money. I mean, you can go anywhere out the gate, make more money with a CDL. So it's kind of hard to compete with that, especially if they're young and one just had a baby. I get it. So one's going back to NDOT. Haven't been here long enough to get PTO yet. So
So
they offer you more money.
you've got 2 truck drivers, District 3 and District 1, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions for Brian on this one?
One motion for both.
We'll do one motion for both.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I've got a first from Janie,
Second.
a second from Gabor Dustin. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Brian, that is good.
All right. I believe that's all I have tonight, unless you guys got anything for me. All righty.
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay, Judge Klein, you made it.
I did. We were at a natural stopping point. I'm here to request, I have one person leaving my office. Their last day is officially tomorrow. And I have, Donella is retiring at the end of the year, so we have to get somebody trained up. She's going to another office where, frankly, she doesn't have to work the brutal hours. I mean, I only had 5 of your cell phone numbers. I was going to send you a text last week at 10 o'clock at night of all of us still going strong over there because criminal's a little bit different. But no, that's what I'm asking for, is permission to hire for that position. It's not a new job. It's just the same slot.
Okay, and this is for the one that is technically done tomorrow?
She's done tomorrow.
She's
yes.
done tomorrow.
Yeah, today was her last day and she took off tomorrow and she starts at another county job this week.
Okay.
So are you saying the person you bring in is somebody Donnella's gonna be able to train, or?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Can't imagine.
this is gonna take about 6 months to, it's like drinking from a fire hose, but yes, we're bringing in somebody that is more than capable.
Okay.
So you already have that person lined
I
up?
do,
Okay.
and I'm poaching.
Coaching big time.
I think
But
that'd be
I have to
good.
say, you couldn't have gotten a better person for the
No,
job.
I think perfect,
My loss, your gain.
yes.
Oh,
Wow.
no, Martha.
So when's your hire request?
Next month.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve this hire request.
I got a first from Amy.
I'll second.
Phil seconded. Any further questions for Judge Klein? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good to go, Judge.
Thank you, you guys have a good night.
Thank
you.
You too. Okay. Allison May, Mitchell Library.
Hello, Council.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I've got a little packet here if you pass around to each council member for me. I will go ahead and get started here, so that, I know you got a long list of things to take care of today. Hello, my name is Allison May. I am the new director of the Mitchell Community Public Library. And I am here to propose to you the renewal of our bond. We are up for another one. I am excited to be here at Mitchell. We are looking to do a lot of great things for our community. But to do those things, Mitchell needs a library that can function as that community hub, to be a safe building. And so I have a team here with me today to sort of walk you through this process. There is no decision that is being asked of you today. This is simply a proposal to walk you through what this process looks like so that we can come back next month and make a decision together. I would like to introduce now Sarah Carell from Ice Miller to present some of that preliminary information.
Thanks, Addison. I'm Sarah Carell with Ice Miller. We serve as bond counsel to the library. So today we're really here to share some information and sort of kick off this process. The law changed in 2019, and libraries in Indiana are required to receive approval from a fiscal body before they can issue debt. This debt is the debt of the library, so it is paid from their debt service tax levy, and it does not count against the county's constitutional debt limit. However, because the library board is appointed rather than elected, we do come to an elected board before we issue that debt. Like Allison said, we are not asking for any approval tonight, but we did want to share with you as we will be back in the coming months for final approval. Before we come back, this is not a controlled project, so it's a smaller project. So we will be going through several library board meetings. We will be holding public hearings at the library board, as well as asking for you to host a public hearing here before we issue these bonds. With that, I will hand it back to Allison to talk about some of the library services.
So with that, here today, I have shared with you some key insights that I have gathered for you in your packet. We are seeing really great trends, really great numbers. There may be an assumption that library services are less needed in communities, but our community is showing us otherwise. Everything we've seen in 2026 compared to 2025 is up. We're seeing more attendance, more usage all across the board. We're really excited and happy with those numbers. We are also providing more for our community, and they are responding really, really well to that, which tells us that they need us as much as we need them. And we're really excited to provide those things. We've added several new services for families. We have family passes that they can now check out to the Indiana State Museum, the Indiana State Parks, and to Conner Prairie. We are working with the Rural Dementia Network to provide memory kits for adults that may be experiencing dementia and Alzheimer's. We are also partnering with the Hoosier Hills Food Bank. We volunteer with them, but we also have intentions of helping create recipe cards for those food boxes that they give out, but then also use that menu of items that they give out to create food programming within the library to sort of invite all families of what can you make with those food items without necessarily calling out if people are getting them from the food bank. Just a way to reach families where they're at is a large part of what we do. Everything we do for the community is free, therefore allowing every dollar that they would spend with those services to go back into the local economy rather than on the books and the internet and the passes and all of those things that we provide by sharing it with the community. We believe that this does make for a stronger community. So today we are, again, introducing this need for this bond to conserve the history of our building while improving the structural integrity of it. And I today also have with me our architect that did a facility assessment of Mitchell last fall, Stephen Allen with Architectural Revivalist.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name's Stephen Allen. I'm an architect and preservation specialist based out of Indianapolis, and my work centers around historic buildings typically. And so we were contacted last year by the board for the Mitchell Community Public Library, and we completed an assessment of the building. Beautiful Carnegie Library, as you guys know, that was built in Mitchell. There are treasures around Indiana that we really need to try to maintain and keep for as long as we can, because other buildings are never going to come like that again. We're probably not going to get Andrew Carnegie's again giving away libraries. So anyway, so we completed an assessment of the building. The last time an assessment was completed was 2011. The last time any renovation work was completed there was back in 2014, with most major systems being actually installed back in 1994 when the addition was put on to the original Carnegie Library. So most of the mechanical systems are installed at that time. That's kind of the last time that any of that exterior envelope had really been looked at. There's been some window replacement over the years, some things, roof, things like that. But what they're running into right now is water is really, as we all know, the biggest enemy of buildings. Since it's been almost 30 years since that addition was built, unfortunately, the addition itself is probably less structurally sound than the original early 1900s building. But there are some foundation issues that are happening, that we've got a few cracks, probably from some settlement. We need to get the drainage moving away from the building, creating positive drainage. There's some site work included. Really, as Allison was saying, it is really to, so basically, sorry, let me get back to this. During this assessment, our team put together a list of items for their team to consider as most important, crucial items for the maintenance of their building. And so what we're kind of attacking are those high level and some of those mid-level items, and those included the HVAC system renewal, which are now 30 years old at the end of their life. The parking lots are worn, they're at the end of their lives. There's some site work. There's additional things as well that I could list off as well if you need to, but they're really trying to just make sure that they're preserving what they have. Yeah.
So based on those recommendations from Architectural Revivalists, I've included a summary of that list for you, some of those high and medium key items. I believe the high items are listed as 1 to 2 years. Please keep in mind too that this assessment was done a year ago, so that timeline has moved up as well. And those are the things that we're looking at. We're looking at to fix water issues. As many of you know, it's been a very wet spring, and we're feeling that. We're fighting against it. And we want to make sure that the building is sound, that it is healthy, that we're not growing mold inside of the walls and the floors and things like that. So those are our recommendations that we are following, updating the boilers and the HVAC systems as well. Some lighting updates, again, just to make it safe and accessible for people. We also have saved up some money as well to put on top of this bond. Our goal is not to impact the taxpayers with any additional tax rates. So that money that we have saved is intended to add to the project to do things like update our circulation desks, update any furniture that is worn and weathered as well, and just to update overall functionality of the building. So I encourage you to ask any questions. If you have any questions for me, to please visit the library between now and the next meeting in August. If you've never been to the library, if you haven't been in a while, I'm happy to give you a tour, to walk you through the issues, to walk you through the joys, and all the good work that the staff is doing. I am here for questions. There is a contact card at the end of your packet, just if you want to reach out and call me, email me, visit. It's got our hours, anything that you can need. But I also have Baker Tilly here with me today. Lacey is going to give you a packet to sort of walk through what that bond process is looking like numbers-wise.
Just to close on one thing, if you guys would like to see a copy of the building assessment, we can provide that to you as well, so you can get a visual of understanding what those needs are. So.
Okay, so I'll have Lacey, and then we'll open for any questions you might have.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. Okay, I have a packet for y'all. So let me just have to take one and pass it down.
I think I can do that.
What's a little bit more paper, right? It's fine. Thank you guys. Thank you all for having me. As she said, my name is Lacey Vachon. I'm with Baker Tilly. We serve as the municipal advisor for the library. So it's a privilege to be here. This town's adorable. It's a nice drive here. So thank you again. And then once everyone has a packet, we can jump right in to the numbers. So if you flip to the second page,
So this is currently the existing debt of the library. So the library does have one bond outstanding, the 2013 GO bonds. So as you can see, they do fall off in 2027. So there is that ability to bring on new debt to kind of replace those payments moving forward. So just kind of give you a snapshot of the current existing debt. And then if you want to go to the next page. So this is a calculation of the general obligation debt limit. So this is state statute. So it's just the latest assessed value divided by 3 times 2%. And this is the max that the library can take out in the library's name. So really, ability to issue a general obligation bond versus a lease. So the bonds that we're looking at tonight are GO bonds. So we would be able to issue general obligation because they do fall under this threshold. The latest assessed value we have is 2026. 2027 AV is starting to come out, so we are monitoring that as well. I did check for Lawrence County and it was not out yet, so I will keep checking for that and update as that's released. But if we take the 2026 assessed value divided by 3 times 2%, we get a little over 3.9 million. And then you have to subtract your current general obligation debt, which would be those 2013 bonds. So the principal on those is that $250,000 that you see. And when we subtract that out, we get the limit at a little over 3.7 million. So again, that would be the max they could issue in general obligation debt, but we are far below that number. So just really to show that we do have the ability to issue general obligation bonds. So then if we flip to the next page, this is really a summary of the proposed bonds. So we would plan to issue those this year. Sometime in the fall, we're looking at kind of September timeframe. We are estimating the borrowing amount to be $1,835,000. And then proceeds available for the project, we're estimating to be $1,555,000. What that kind of difference is, so cost of issuance comes out of that. And then we are assuming for the first year, so in 2027, a little bit of capitalized interest of about $80,000. And so I'll touch on that on the next slide as well, because I think it gives a better visual. But those are kind of the two. So cost of issuance, underwriter fees, or banking fee, whatever issuance we decide to go with that, that's all included in what comes out for proceeds. And then we are assuming the repayment term to be 20 years. So the max you can repay bonds is 20 years. So we can't go out any farther than that. So we are assuming the maximum repayment, and then estimated interest expense to be a little over 1.2 million. What I do want to point out with the interest expense is we are running this off of 5.5% interest rates. I did get fresh off the press today from our pricing director, interest rates as of today. So again, estimating at 5.5, and then today it would be closer to 4.5. So there is buffer built in. So to kind of give you an idea, off that 4.5 interest rate, you would be looking at around $995,000 in interest versus the $1,210,000. So I just wanted to make sure, we're kind of showing maximum numbers. And then, as Allison mentioned, with the issuance of these and being able to use capitalized interest, we are able to manage the property tax levy, meaning that the property taxes that the library asked for in 2026 would be the same that they would ask for in 2027, so there would be no increase from a taxpayer to issue these bonds. And we are, in our assumptions, assuming 2026 assessed value, as I mentioned in the GO capacity calculation, because that's the latest data that we have. So we never make assumptions in growth or anything like that when we're projecting out. And then if we go to the last slide, so if you're a visual person like I am, this is the graph. And so the teal bars are those 2013 GO bonds, again, falling off in 2027. And then in the yellow are the 2026 GO bonds. And in that kind of barbershop looking pool, that is the estimated capitalized interest, again, at around $80,000. And the reason, just touching on this, so for the first year in 2027, we're assuming interest only. So there's no principal in that first year. So after we do that, the only other option we have to help manage to not increase taxes is to use capitalized interest. So that's why we're using it, is to be able to manage property taxes so that there isn't an increase to a taxpayer. So that's why that is. And again, we would assume that would be lower, just based on if interest rates come in lower, and as of today, if we sold them today. So I did want to throw that in there as well as to why there is capitalized interest in that first year, just to clarify. Are there any questions?
The tax increases sounds great.
Yes, right, great, yes.
That's a lot of interest to pay though.
Now, that's for 27, correct? No increase in 27, and this is showing all the way through 2045?
Correct. And so on the graph, if you see, so we're, we can, we're assuming, okay, we're holding your property tax levy constant. We don't know where AV is going to come in the next 20 years, right? The law could change. There's so many things that could change. So right now we're saying, yes, we can say there's no property tax levy increase for 2027. I can't tell you for 20 years what's going to happen, right? But we would be able to manage the levy with everything we know as of today with these payments that we have on these future years. So to us, there would be no levy increase unless something would change, which could happen, as you all know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But with everything we know today, yes, they would be able to manage their property tax levy with no increase with these bonds being issued. Now, if they decide to, there could be additional bonds or anything like that, but like with these alone, we can say that. No property tax levy increase.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
So we're looking at like $285,000 in fees and attorneys, and that doesn't include any architect's fees.
So all the fees, so we get all of those fees so like attorneys, like bond counsel, local counsel. If we, again, depending on method of sale, we would go through maybe an S&P rating. And what I'm showing today is like cost of issuance being $200,000. For the method of sale that we'll probably end up issuing, it will be lower than $200,000. So again, with the buffer, like we're kind of like, here's our max. If we do everything, and if it's at kind of the highest point, like 200,000, what we would say, but we can project that it would most likely come in lower than that, especially depending on how we end up selling the bonds. We could go bond bank with these, competitive. Those are still conversations that we're having with Allison over the next few weeks as well. So, and that's all, we get that from our pricing director too, like that direction. If interest rates flip or something happens, we want to be able to pivot and really put the library in the best position on what's going to get them the best on day of sale. So yes, 200,000 is what we're estimating right now for cost of issuance at a conservative number.
Any further questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
When you come back to present again next month,
Yeah.
will these numbers be more solidified than what you have now?
I would say they're not going to change much unless we have 2027 assessed value, and even then, I don't foresee them really changing because these are already kind of maximums as is. Like we've already kind of built in those parameters, so I don't foresee any changes unless something unforeseen happens. But you might see like 2027 AV updated if it comes out. But I don't see any other changes unless there's questions or additional information that you all have that you want us to provide. We're happy to do that.
Very good. Any further questions?
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for me at this time? All right. Thank you
I
so
think
much.
did good. Thank you. Okay. Paul Edwards.
Okay,
How's
so I'm
Paula?
coming, I'm good, how are you?
Good.
And if you see me winking at anyone, it's because I've got an eyelash caught in my eye, and every once in a while, I'm sorry about that. I'm coming tonight to ask to raise the new nursing position that I came last month and asked to change out an employee that had retired into a nursing position. It was a little more money, I think it was like $2,000 or $3,000 more. We put out a call, got 7 responses. We had 3 that never returned our phone call to set up an appointment, 4 that set up appointments, 2 that just didn't show up, and 2 that called ahead of time to say we're not coming. So so we got no response. So I got to looking through Indeed, and then there was a site that showed Bloomington on Indeed, and then a salary expert in ZipRecruiter for amounts for an LPN. We're not looking at even an RN, we're looking for an LPN, and it is a specialized position in our office.
Paula, are you aware of what is it, My Home, MySpace,
Hometown hiring.
Hometown.
I am, and we never got a chance to have it up there. However, the response that we had, we're all local, and once we advertised the salary, but I think they hit a response, and then they just hit it, send in the application, and then when they realize how much less it is than what they're making wherever they're at, they just don't bother to. And that was the response from the two that canceled, that actually called and canceled, that it was due to the amount they were going to be making. So anyway, I'm coming tonight to ask that maybe if we can move this up a little bit, and I'm just looking to move it from a skill scale B to a skill scale C due to that lack of response. And currently, skill scale B is about $21.65 an hour, or $45,040 annually. I'm looking to go, or hoping to go, to skill scale C, which is $23.33 an hour, or $48,540 annually. It's a $3,500 difference. Indeed says you should expect to get about $66,000 a year, and that was in the Bloomington area. Salary expert said about $50,000 a year, $888, and ZipRecruiter said about $57,000. So we can't come close to that, but I'm asking if we can raise it a little bit and see if we get a response. And I am going to try this. Joe Timbrook stopped by the office with a mug and a card and said, hey. And anyway, and then also last time when I was presenting it, I was saying, this position for this nurse will be a health ed position as well, and FEF coordinator, and that we reimburse back into our health fund each month for that position from the FEF fund. The auditor's office usually keeps these checks whenever I write them. They forgot to today, but I thought it was perfect, so I'm going to be dropping this back off with you. But for May, it was $1,666.70 that we put back into the fund. So it's about $20,000 a year that we put back into the fund. So this still doesn't even touch that amount, because we're looking at maybe increasing about $7,000 over the old position.
Now this comes out of the health one?
It is out of our health fund, yes, because the position that retired was out of our health fund.
Okay. Which does not affect county general.
No.
Correct. Does not affect county general.
No.
She has no funds in county general.
No. Any questions for Paula?
Go ahead, Janie.
I'm sorry. Did the people who decided not to come to interview tell you what they were making by any chance?
No, they don't reveal what they're making, but they just say, I can't take that kind of a cut. They were looking at maybe not having to drive to Bloomington.
That's what I'm thinking.
But it's worth the drive if you're going to make $10,000 to $20,000 more.
Well, yeah. I just was curious if that was really the case.
No, I think it really was, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it has been in all of our positions when we've had difficulty filling. And nursing is the worst, because there's so many places they can go and fulfill that job need.
Okay. Paula's wanting to move that from a B to a C, correct?
Move it from a B to a C, and doing that would make it $48,540.
Okay. Is there any further questions for Paula?
Yes. I assume you do think this is a sustainable raise with your funding?
I do. Because we have the FEF grant that we're receiving again next year. We've gotten it since I started in 2006. It has changed in nature as well as amount. I think $20,000 to $25,000 is the least that we've ever gotten. From what I'm being told, we're going to be getting more than that next year, but we don't try to assess it on anything more, because sometimes there are parameters with the other part of it. They do require us have someone, though, that is a public health emergency preparedness coordinator, because they attend out-of-county meetings as well as in-county meetings and prepare for the worst.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no further questions for Paula, I'll call for a motion.
So moved.
Janie first.
Second.
Dustin made the second. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you're going from a B to a C.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will be getting a hold of
Good luck.
in-home,
Hometown hiring.
Hometown Hub.
hometown hiring.
Actually, on that, Martha, you can do that for her, or Valerie, either one, correct? On the
Well, they
hometown,
can work with Joe Tinberg to get that.
or
on
Joe
there.
Timber can do it too. Okay. Well, you got three options. Whoever you find. Mhm.
I just card.
Okay. Leslie, Laudermill.
She is not coming today.
She is not coming.
Good evening, Council. My name is Audie. Like I mentioned at our last meeting, I'll be taking a lot of the, anything that relates to communicating with you all, I will take on that role. So Leslie is not here, but I am here in her place. I'm just here to ask that we change the term extension educators in our budget from that to contractual services in the line item.
And that's on the educators, correct?
Correct. On the budget, it says extension educators, and we're just asking for a change to contractual services instead.
Okay. You're wanting to do this for 27, the 27 budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We've already completed our contractual payment to them for 2026. This is just getting more in line with their regional model of contractual services instead of individual educators assigned to each county. Is that correct?
Well, we've always had the term contractual services. I just think some counties might name it or call it something different, but it's always been called contractual services. So we're just trying to get more in line with that terminology.
So this is something we'll take up at budget time, correct?
Right, in the budget, instead of seeing it under extension educators, you would see it under this 39601 contracted services.
Yeah. So there'll be no motions or anything on this tonight. We will do this at budget time.
Okay.
Well, we need to have it approved so that we can put it in that line.
We're not voting on any money.
No, you're
No,
not.
it's
voting
just-
on
We're
money.
just creating
You're
this
just voting on
line.
changing the line name
Yeah, it's just a name. There's no
For
money or anything
27.
involved.
for 27, yes. So that when we print your budget books, it's in the correct position.
Yeah, so moving forward, it will just be called contractual services instead of extension educators. It's just changing the name of the terminology. Nothing else is changing, just the wording.
And that would change it in budget time, at that budget time for
In your
27.
2027 budget book, it will be listed as contracted services and not in extension educators.
Because I know commissioners are getting ready to go through that contract too, correct?
That's, has nothing to do with the line names.
But this would be effective 27.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So you want a motion to change that?
Yes, to be able to change that
line
line.
to correctly reflect contractual services. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Janie made the first.
Second.
Amy made the second. Any further questions or comments on this one? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Martha, that one is changed. It's changed.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner McKnight.
The reason I'm here this evening is to inform you folks about a major structural problem we're having over at the courthouse annex. Plaza, whatever you prefer to call it. The engineers have inspected it. It looks pretty serious. Within a week or so, they're supposed to give us a report and an estimated cost. Initial thoughts are it's going to be up into the several six-figure digits. Quite expensive, the way it looks at this point. We'll know more soon. Which leads me to the next point. At this morning's commissioner meeting, we tabled a resolution because we discovered there was a procedural area in it, and so we didn't do it that time. But it's relevant to this. We didn't want to wait a whole nother month to talk to you folks about it. We have a couple of properties that we are considering selling and we had initially been led to believe that that money would go into Cume Cap directly from the sale proceeds. The State Board of Accounts finding now says it has to go through County General and then be reappropriated back to Cume Cap, which would help us to alleviate this courthouse problem if it gets to be as expensive as it appears it's going to be. Basically, what I'm here asking is some assurance from you folks that you are agreeable to that type of maneuver.
On putting the money from the sale of the properties into QCAP. Okay, we can't vote on that. There can be no votes on this because that would be considered an additional, correct?
Right.
This is information only.
Yes, that's correct.
I got no problem with it going back, go to King Cap, but it's gonna be used for.
Well, I mean, the money is pretty well already spent on the plaza, depending on what you get out of that. I don't know the totals on that, but.
I'm hoping your property sells high and your estimate comes in low.
I would tend to agree with that.
Because you're supposed to have that engineering report back in.
Maybe
next-
yet this week, probably not till next week, but it is supposed to come through fairly quickly, and I will keep everybody abreast the best I can once we get it.
Okay.
What engineering firm's looking at that?
Architectura Engineering, the one that did all the work over there already, so they were familiar with the building.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I have to
Thank you.
entertain you folks with. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, next one is CF1's, Heidelberg, Tracy. I didn't see Tracy, but you'll work.
Well, I tell you, my name is David Poling. I'm the assistant plant manager. I don't know if you guys want these because Tracy has moved on. Yeah, so today was his last day.
Today was it?
Yes, today was his last day.
Oh
So,
my gosh, we didn't
yes.
get to say congratulations.
yeah, so I'm here to continue the tax abatement. I believe that the number was 166 employees at the plant, and we're going to hold it 173. So we've been there 100 years. Right now the business is really strong. We were estimated for 1.7 million tons out of the plant this year, but we're going to end up somewhere around 2 million at this rate. So sales are up and things are looking pretty good for us. So just want to ask for continuation of the abatement.
Question, compared to last year, what, the year before, you said you had 173 employees this year, what was it prior year?
166?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes, 166.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And that's, do we have a certain number we have to stay at, or we requested you to stay at?
I believe it's the 173.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I understand. So, and I'm not sure how many years. I think 29.
Okay.
I think that is.
If you go to the back of your stack, there's two CF1s in there. One is for American Fiber Tech Corporation, and the second one is Heidelberg.
There's two.
There's two for
I've got to that one. Yep, the other one's behind it. So I've got two on Heidelberg.
So what's happening at Heidelberg? The capture of the,
Carbon capture?
that's going nowhere now?
Well, I'm not so sure. I think that the government is starting to release some of that. So we've actually started to get some quotes together to reassess the drilling well.
Interesting.
And so I just got an email on that yesterday. So we're gonna, as soon as that gets approved, then we'll continue to with that project.
Yeah.
We're starting the project at least to do the complete assessment.
Because the grants is what got stopped on that, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, the
put on
500
hold?
million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for him? Okay. Hearing nothing, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay. But that one, I want you guys to know that those are in the back. Okay, American Fiber Tech. Mike? And that one will be in the back of your packet too.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name's Mike Dercasey. I'm fairly new to the company. I'm their new Chief Financial Officer. Been with them about 90 days. I'm just here to give you an update on our tax abatement request for American Fiber Tech. American Fiber Tech, for those of you that don't know, we are a company that manufactures and recycles hardwood pallets. We are known about putting our customer first. All of our byproduct from our plants and mills goes into mulch that gets sold all over the state of Indiana, animal bedding used by farmers in the state of Indiana, and even our sawdust goes into energy for our plants and external energy. So we try to utilize everything with our product. Due to the high demand of our product, we needed to upgrade our sawmill here in Mitchell to increase productivity and efficiency. So we have decided back last year to implement a project of $12 million to completely upgrade and renovate the sawmill. It was supposed to be launched November, December of 2025. It was delayed due to vendor reasons till this May. We shut down completely in May, took all the old equipment out, put all the new equipment in. It was up and running about 3 to 4 weeks. All labor was maintained through that period to help with tear out and install cost, and any downtime that they had, we took advantage of, utilized for new equipment training, new safety training, any employee training that we could fit in. We didn't want to lay off a single employee. Obviously, we are about up to 60% of its capability, so it's been a stressful few months financially, but the hardwood industry has taken quite a big hit over the decade. Margins have really shrank. So we are trying to basically increase volume. Luckily, we do have the ability and demand to increase that volume. We just need to get the productivity in our operation to get that. So that is kind of the update. Any questions?
That was a 5-year, wasn't it? 5-year?
Yes, yes.
I'm curious, do any of your products go to companies that are doing wood pellets for energy, or are you aware?
We are very popular so due to the cleanliness and the quality of our product, we're very popular in anybody in the food industries and anybody that really appreciates a strong quality pallet. I don't know all the customers yet. I'd be shocked if there's not. But you know, a lot of high-end manufacturers, distributors utilize us. Again, we're in a lot of food companies because we're one of the few pallets that can qualify. Food industry is very, very hard to qualify for. So even plastic pallets now are getting scrutinized big time over, you know, bacteria and things like that, where a hardwood dry pallet, we actually cure our pallets. We actually have these big ovens that they go through to cure. It's great company. I've been there 90 days. I've really enjoyed working with the leadership and the team. Again, they really put their customers first and performing for them. But
And you have 97 or 130?
we have actually 600 employees across the state of Indiana and Pennsylvania. Roughly, I think it's 120 are at the mill. The 100 that are in this are referencing to the actual production workforce there. So there's an additional 20 drivers that are supported out of that mill, bringing logs in, taking product out, delivering mulch and animal bedding and sawdust all over the state.
Millions of dollars in salaries?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, actually through the upgrade, we've actually promoted some folks to higher end, because with the new equipment, some of the manual, some of the manual positions kind of got, so we actually promoted people up into more technical roles. Safety was huge, so the whole retrofit really brought us safer environment. The equipment was 25, 30 years old. So today's equipment's just way safer, way more productive. We're struggling with some of the controls, technologies, and programming, but hopefully over the next few months we'll have that thing up to par, and we're expecting a 20% increase in productivity at the plant.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
Just to put you on the spot, could you see your way possible to send some out to some animal bedding out to the 4-H fair?
I'd be shocked if they don't buy some now.
I didn't mean buy.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you guys approve the abatement that we can, I'm pretty sure leadership will make that happen for you.
Nothing like putting him on the spot, right?
Yes. Well, he's been there 90 days. He might as well get burned now.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Any further questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, items for consideration, Baker Tilly.
Good afternoon. I do want to clarify that on the agenda it says lit public safety, and I think Amy and Martha were for the fiscal sustainability plan.
This is to do with the fire departments.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is separate than,
Nothing to do with you all.
okay, gotcha.
So,
But you want to
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go with that one first, so.
No. You first.
I do have copies for all the council. I don't have enough for everyone here, but I'll leave some with Lacey up here, so if anybody wants to follow along, we do have a few extras.
That would be a good number.
Will you hold on to those? Okay, so for anyone that I haven't met in person, my name is Scott Finley. I'm with Baker Tilly. I sit on our municipal team working on long-term financial plans like the one that we're providing for Lawrence County. We have met several times with the working group, Martha, Amy, Phil, and Rick. We've been working on this for several months now. We've got a good draft version of it. What you have in the PowerPoint is kind of a simplified, modified version of it because the full report is 60 pages with a lot of cash flows. So this is a little bit condensed and a little easier to handle in the short time period that we have here today. So as I go through, if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop me. So the report that we prepared goes from 2024, so we're looking at actual 2024 and actual 2025, and then future all the way through 2031. We're going through 2031. As you all know, there's been some legislative changes over the last few years. Those will be implemented starting in this year, 2026, and they'll be finalized and fully implemented in 2031. So hopefully this report will help you see the effect of those legislative changes. So if we will skip to the third slide that says why the plan is prepared. So why we're preparing this for the county. We've done this in years past. The first one that I was involved with, I think, was in 2024. So we wanted to evaluate the long-term financial position of the county and make sure that the financials and all of the major operating funds were sustainable long-term. Not just looking at the budget for the year that's coming in, but making sure that that budget is sustainable. We also want to make sure we're identifying any future funding gaps before they become critical. These long-term plans allow you to make more gradual changes rather than these sharp 90-degree turns when all of a sudden something pops up and you're not planning for it. It's going to assist elected officials with like yourself with budget development, which I know is coming up very soon. So the revenue estimates that are prepared in here will help you understand whether your budgets are balanced, whether there's any cuts, or maybe you have some room in there to grow. And again, as I mentioned, it helps us look at those legislative impacts that have happened over the last couple of years. So next slide, slide 4, the planning horizon. So as I mentioned already, this reviews the historical financial performance 2024, 2025. We pull that data from publicly available information like the annual financial report. We also work with Martha to get information from the county's internal records, DLGF reports, things of that nature. We also project revenues, as I mentioned, to make sure that the budgets that you're preparing are in line with those revenue estimates. We use the historical data along with some of those DLGF reports to come up with those estimates. For expenditures, currently in this report, just want to make sure everyone's aware, because the budget form 1s are not ready yet, we have expenditures that are based on 3% of 2026's budgets. So we're looking at, again, the historical actuals, and then for 2026, budget plus growth is what we're looking at for 2027. It also evaluates both the current financial health and, again, the long-term sustainability of that of the financial picture. Slide 5, the intended use, again, annual budget planning, not just for 2027, but for 28, 29, all the way through 2031. Capital improvement planning. In this report, the capital improvement plan isn't in here, but in the full FSP that you will get a draft of does have all of the capital projects that we've received listed out on the final page and worked into all of the different funds. Cash reserve management, make sure that we're staying in line with the plan that we have for the cash reserves that we want to have in each of the different funds, mostly the operating funds, obviously. Long-range financial decision-making and policy discussions regarding revenues and expenditures. So to start off with, on slide 6, a couple of the key findings that we have. I know, again, when I was preparing this report in 2024, there were several budget deficits that we noticed. The county has done a great job of switching that and balancing a lot of those budgets. So for now, most of the funds are financially stable, but there are just a few operating funds, and we'll mention those a little later in the report, that we want to keep an eye on. They're fine for the time being, but as we kind of go into the future, we want to make sure that we're reallocating levy and making sure that they're stable in those future years. Recent state legislation, again, we've talked about this, but the SEA 1 changed the deductions for some of the 2% properties. So 2% properties in the past didn't receive deductions. They will from 2026 through phasing in through 2031. And that will be fully implemented, I think, at 33% deduction in 2031. So essentially, if you have a 2% or a rental property, you're going to only pay taxes on 66% of that assessed value, rather than that full amount, which is what you would have paid on prior to these changes. Also, with the changes to the de minimis deduction for business personal property, that's going to change the NAVs. And the additional supplemental homestead credits as well, with the phasing out of the traditional credits. Operating fund balances are remaining above the minimum reserve that we are expecting. Again, we'll talk about those individual funds that maybe we want to keep an eye on a little later. Long-term financial planning will be essential to preserve the service levels without relying on one-time cash reserves. Slide 7, the financial outlook. We talked about how the property tax growth is expected to slow because of these legislative changes. We expect to see slowed net assessed value growth, which we'll see on the assumptions. Local income tax revenue, which we've talked about ad nauseum. We do have some things up in the air right now about when the actual distributions from that lit are going to be effective. Something came out from the DLGF last week that makes us believe that maybe those actual distributions for the new lit might not happen until 2030 instead of 2029. So we'll keep you apprised of that as we get more information on that. Again, we talked about the capital planning and the few funds that require some review to make sure that they stay financially stable, which is what we get to here in the key financial challenges. These are the 4 funds that we've identified as, again, fine for now, but we want to make sure that we're adjusting them in future years to make sure that they're sustainable. So the health fund, when we get to the cash flow, will show that a lot of levy has been moved from the health fund in order to utilize some excess cash reserves in those funds. But as early as 2028, a levy allocation will need to be moved back to that fund to make sure that it is sustainable. It's a similar, similar story for reassessment. Again, operating on cash reserves to utilize those excess reserves. In 2028, we would need to move some levy to that fund. Statewide 911, we are seeing those revenues decline all over the state. So it has been operating on cash balances since 2025. We'll talk a little bit about how that fund's heading once we get to that cash flow here in just a few minutes. And the emergency management fund, similarly, this one can last a little bit longer on its cash reserves, but we want to look at levy allocation starting in 2031. County health funding, just wanted to make a quick point on the Health First Indiana. So as I'm sure you're all aware, in 2025, that funding was cut at the state level. If the county is reliant upon those Health First Indiana funds for operating costs, we may need to look at moving those costs either to the health fund and then reallocating more levy, or to the general fund, or a fund that has enough revenues to.
That's a big cut.
Yeah, so the statewide cut was huge, and then if you see the right box there is how much it was cut from 2025 to 2026, and what we're estimating for 2027 is $266,000, down from almost $1 million in 2025. So if counties became reliant on that, you know, for operating costs, that's a struggle, because then once you have those recurring operating costs, then you have to figure out where to pay for those once that funding's not there. So it will be reassessed, my understanding, in the next budget season, which I believe is 2027 for 2028.
So we do expect another distribution in 27, but then the legislature will have to make a decision if they want to continue this funding going forward.
And we did know that when they
Yes,
set it up, they
right.
said that.
It was, could be temporary.
Okay, so on to slide 11, which is starting our major assumptions. This is an important graph here, chart here with the blue lines and the red lines up at the top. This is showing the property tax for the 2024 through 2031, as well as the property tax and circuit breaker credits that are applied to those levies. So as you're looking at this, you may notice that 2026 looks slightly odd from some of the other years as the property tax dropped down, but the circuit breaker or property tax credits increased. In 2026, the county adopted slightly below the maximum amount of levy, so that's why the property taxes are lower. And at the same time, SEA 1 was implemented, the first section of that, those credits came in, so that's why the circuit breakers jumped from $633,000 in 2025 up to just over $1 million in 2026. And if you'll notice, based on the parcel level analysis that we've done, looking at 2027 through 2031, we expect those credits to increase again in 2029, and then the credits themselves will start to dip in 2030 and 2031. So that's not uncommon for what we're seeing for counties like Lawrence County. So just want to make you aware of those growing credits that will be a decrease to those revenues. So for 2027, for 2026, the tax credits did increase by $403,000. On the next page, we have the maximum property tax levy. I believe we talked about this in our working group meeting, but the maximum levy growth quotient was approved in 2027 at 6%. So that is more than the 4% that has been capped at for the last couple of years. So you will get a little bit of extra growth on your levy for 2027. You'll see for 2028 through 2031, we're estimating 5%, just under 4%, 4% for those future years. The next page, slide 13, is where we're at, the local income tax assumptions. So we have assumed that the lit revenues will increase annually by around 5.5% to 6.5%, depending on the year. Again, we talked about the current lit structure expiring in 2028. That is still the case. It's just when the distributions to the county would come in based on that new lit rate. So again, as soon as we have more information from that, Martha will relay that to you. And if we need to update the report, we can update the report. It doesn't ultimately affect the overall picture of Lawrence County's FSP, because the lit rate that we're using, if you'll see there on the left-hand side for county services lit, is 0.5%. You can go up to 1.2%, so you still have leeway if you do need to adjust for the revenues that you need. So being in that situation is better than, you know, some of the communities we see that can't bring in enough lit at the maximum rate that they are allowed. So again, just for that, wanted to point out 0.5% is the amount that we're using for the county services lit for the FSP. The assessed value assumptions are here on slide 14. What you'll see from the parcel level analysis that we did is we're expecting slowed growth starting in 2027. So you'll see the county has had some relatively large growth, 2023 16.7%, 2025 14.4%, and then based on our analysis, It looks like it's going to stay between 1 and 3% for 2027 through 2031. Slide 15, revenue and expenditure growth. I already mentioned that for expenditures, we have used 3% growth on the previous year's budgets, and then we're extrapolating that out 27, 28, 29. Revenues, most of the revenues have stayed relatively stable. If there was growth showing in the trends, we tried to show that growth over those annual average growth factors. We can also show scenarios on the operating disbursements if you want to see what wages would look like if we did more of an increase than the 3%. We can go 5, 6, whatever percentage you would like to see. That's pretty easy to plug in and out of the model. Slide 17, the overall operating fund trends. Again, the operating fund balances are increasing over time, which is a good thing. Again, the first time we presented this report, they were kind of trending the other way. There's a few funds, the health, aviation, and reassessment, that were decreased in 2025 and 2026 to utilize those excess cash reserves, like we mentioned earlier. This just mentions the cash reserve targets. Ideally, we want to stay between 15 and 50%, depending on the type of fund. I don't think any of the funds in this report are outside of that, or they're definitely not underneath that for 2027. So if there's any that we need to discuss, we'll discuss that on the cash flow pages. Slide 19 has the revenue changes between actually I should say 2024 and 2027, because we're actually showing 2024, 2025, estimated for 2026 and estimated for 2027. We do have some notes down there. As you'll notice, between 25 and 26, the general fund did decrease slightly. Part of that is because of adopting underneath that max levy, and part of that is because of the increased circuit breaker and property tax credits with the new legislation. And then you'll see in 2027, it's staying right around that 18.7 million, again, because those property tax credits are kind of going up a little bit more each year. MVH is the only other one that I really want to talk about on this page, because we are showing kind of a large decrease in 2026. That's mostly because of the pause on the gas tax that started back in April. I think that's set to expire at the beginning of August. When we got the reports from the state, July looked like it was about 50% of what the previous July was. So for the remainder of the months, we have estimated 50% of the receipts from the previous year. But there has been a gas tax holiday reimbursement, Martha, that you've probably seen. That was just for the first 2 months. It's possible that they may extend that and give some more relief, but those would have to be approved by the state. So at this point, we haven't included those, but the hope is that the state will make the county whole for those lost revenues.
Has anybody seen a lower gas rate because of that tax holiday? I haven't heard anybody talk about their
I haven't
gas
noticed that.
prices
It's been
going down.
lower, but
Well, we traveled to Missouri, and typically Missouri is 20 cents a gallon, 30 cents a gallon cheaper than Indiana. We were cheaper than Missouri this time, so there was a difference.
yeah, I guess that's the case. I also haven't been out of Indiana to see if it's different than the rest of the.
In Illinois, you want to make sure you don't ever get gas.
Okay, so we are on to slide 21, which starts.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
The bridge, the cumulative bridge fund.
Yes.
That's taken quite a pretty good hit. What's the reason for that?
That would be because of the slowed net assessed value growth on top of the additional property tax credits. So the cumulative bridge fund is rate driven, so it's based on whatever the net assessed value is. So since we're seeing that rate in 2027, we're expecting the NAV to have less growth, then the revenues are going to decline because they're not increasing with the MLGQ. Does that answer your question?
And Cum Cap's taking a hit too.
Again, that's it. Yeah, any rate-driven fund, which I think those are your only. Cumbridge and CCD are both rate-driven, so they're going to be reliant on the assessed value growth.
Now there's another one too, I'm sure you guys caught on the plaza.
Yeah, I know, I just, yes.
So you might want to get with
Yep.
Commissioner or Martha and
Yep.
keep that on your thoughts.
Yep.
And I heard him say 6 digits and it could be multiple 6 digits.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're into, we're just looking at the major operating cash flows in this condensed version. So looking at the general fund, we just show the receipts, the disbursements, the change in fund balance, beginning balance for the fund, ending balance, and the operating balance percentage if we're looking over on that left side. The full FSP, when you receive that, will have much more detail. It'll have all of the line items broken down, different receipt columns, the different expenditure columns as well. So just a condensed version to kind of show the highlights. So looking at 2027, because that's the budget year that we're coming up on, you'll see that our revenue estimates for 2027 are 18.75 million. If you add 3% growth to the disbursements from the prior year, you're at 18.2 million. So that's good. You have a $500,000 surplus based on that. Again, once we have the Form 1s, we can enter those into this model and see how the funds look with the actual estimated disbursements. So Martha will work with you on getting those when they're ready. If you can see the chart down below, you'll see a chart like this for all of the different funds. The bottom red line is going to be the 15% operating balance, and the top green line is going to be the 50% operating balance. So those are kind of the guardrails of where we want to see those fund balances land. And the green bar is going to be the actual or estimated fund balance. So you'll notice that for the general fund, we're right in between those two bars. So this fund looks pretty healthy all the way out through 2031. And the operating balance is staying pretty stable, right around 45%.
28 and 29 don't look too good, do they?
28 and 29, there's a, I'm still showing receipts up higher than disbursements, which is good. So I'm still showing a positive change in fund balance. It's lower, yes.
Lower is not the word I would use. It's 535, 386, and 27. It's 50,000 or.
Yeah, so 2028 is what I would almost call a perfectly balanced budget. That's what I would like to see a budget be at, is ideally zero. Your receipts match your disbursements, so your recurring costs are fundable through all revenues and you're not eating into any fund balances. So yes, it looks worse than 2027. I expect that maybe those budgets will come in higher than the 3% growth, so that leaves you a little bit of leeway in 2027. So if those budgets come in over 18.2 million, the 2027's surplus may not quite be as high as we're expecting. But I do know there were several expenses that were moved from the general fund last year during the budget process as you were kind of trying to balance that budget, which the county did a great job of getting that budget back into balance, and actually it's going to end up being a surplus for 2026, assuming that we stay in line with the budget. For the aviation fund, this is one of the funds that excuse me, we have some levy that needs to be reallocated at some point. If you look at the receipts section for 2024 through 2026, you'll see there was a decrease in 2025 where there was some levy shifted, another decrease in 2026 where some more levy was shifted. And then in 2027, Martha, when we're working on the budget, we're shifting some levy back to this fund to make sure that it stays above that 15% operating balance. And you'll see with that amount of levy that we've shifted over there, it goes just above 15% in 2027. I don't think we need to transfer any additional revenues in future years. That a little bit allows it to get back up into a 25% operating balance by the end of this financial outlook. Health fund is going to be a similar story, page 23. You'll see what we've done here. Similarly, you'll see 435,000 in revenues in 24, 363 in 25, and 147,000 in 2026. but you'll see they can operate on their cash balance for a little longer, and we're not moving that levy back until 2028 when we move $525,000 in levy there. And that keeps us right around the 20 to 30% operating balance for the outlook of the report. MVH, we already kind of discussed, excuse me, the talking point on this, which was the pause on gas tax. So you'll see the dip in the receipts. It doesn't really cause any issues with this fund because it does have an adequate cash balance. I think this is worst case scenario for 2026 based on receipts. So if there are additional gas tax holiday reimbursements, that receipts number would go up, and obviously your operating balance would go up as well. Reassessment, excuse me, is the other one that we have to look at allocating levy. This one, the dip in 2026, it goes to just under 200,000 in revenues. And then we move levy back in 2028. You'll see it goes up to 438,000. So that's reallocating that levy over to make sure that it again stays above that 15% minimum operating balance. Emergency management. This one we have continuing to operate on very minimal levy because it does have a high operating balance. While the number itself isn't high, you know, for 2026 we're looking at ending with 347,000. But based on the disbursements from this fund of 92,000, it has a 375% operating balance. So we're operating this fund on cash balances all the way through 2031, where you'll see that it drops down to 12.8%. So that's where we'll need to start looking at reallocating levy to this fund. Local roads and streets, similar to the MVH, pause on gas tax, decrease in revenues 2026. What I didn't mention is that for 2027, we did, excuse me, normalize 2026 and then put historical growth onto 2027. So you'll see that 2025 was 831,000 was the revenue, and then when you jump to 21, we're showing 856,000. So we are showing that growth and assuming that it's going to go back to normal in those funds starting in 2027. Public safety, this one looks a little different because, as you know, this fund will be going away in either 2029 or 2030, depending on what the interpretation of the legislature is. So in 2029, we are showing that all receipts and disbursements will come out of this fund, and the disbursements will have to be moved to the general fund, which is where the new lit that's adopted by the county in 2028 will be deposited. You'll see that there is still a balance of $856,000 in that. You can continue to spend from this fund until that balance is depleted, you know, as long as it's a legal use of the fund. Okay, are there any questions on the cash flows? I know I went through those really fast, trying to not take up all your night. So, slide 30, strengths. We have healthy fund balances in most of the funds. We're showing historically stable assessed value growth. Again, we might see a downturn in the growth. We'll still see growth in the NAV, but it might be slowed growth. Opportunities for additional funding under the new lit structure. So because the county can replenish the amount of lit that it's losing with the new structure, there is opportunities for additional revenues if you did want to increase that lit rate higher. Few weaknesses and challenges. Again, we have a few structurally imbalanced funds. I'm not super concerned with those because they're imbalanced on purpose to utilize cash balances. So we know about them. We know that we need to keep an eye on them. Not a huge concern. It is just something that we want to keep in the back of our mind as we move forward. Property tax reform is reducing the revenue flexibility. You saw the graph that shows that those property tax credits are increasing in those future years. So again, we'll want to keep an eye on those property tax revenues. And again, while the local income tax structure changing can be a positive because it might allow for more revenue, it's still going to be a challenge to coordinate with all of the different units and make sure that the county has a large responsibility of making sure that, you know, they're adopting the different lits that all the different units are going to need. So it's still going to be a challenge for the county. A couple of the considerations, the health aviation, I'm not going to reiterate that, we've talked about that several times. The possibility of an efficiency analysis to see, we come in and see if there's any redundancies that maybe you can eliminate and maybe cost savings. Statewide 911, and actually now that I'm thinking about it, that wasn't one of the major operating funds that we covered. It will be in the full FSP, but we need to align the recurring expenditures with the revenues and evaluate funding alternatives before fund balance are exhausted, because I think it's 2029 is when.
Explain that to me again.
The statewide 911. So currently, and I apologize, we don't have the cash flow for it, but once we get to, I think it's 2029 or 2030, statewide 911 is going to start to dip below that 15% operating balance, because currently the expenses are growing faster than the revenues, which the revenues aren't growing, they're declining, and we're seeing that statewide. So either, I guess really kind of the only option, unless there's something changed in the statewide 911 funding, is expenditures will need to be funded from another fund, most likely.
I understand that. You explain to me again why, everyone calls 911. How's that going down?
Go ahead.
You've explained it to me once, I need to explain it to you.
We believe maybe it's partially because of the use of temporary, like track phones that don't pay 911 fees.
Yes.
So more people using those would cause a why they don't pay the 911 fee, I don't know. But we think that's the reason for the decrease in those. So it paid
There needs to be a change in legislation.
Yeah, I can't imagine the legislature's gonna let that get by there.
Or they could change the legislation so they're increasing the fees on the regular phone, the regular cell phones that do pay the tax. But the trend is downward all of the state of the, not by a lot.
That just surprised me so much.
It's
So-
not by a lot, but it's not growing for sure.
Yeah, so if those revenues start to decline and you become reliant upon those revenues for your recurring costs, obviously your recurring costs are going to increase year over year. If those revenues start to decline, then there's going to be an imbalance, and there's going to have to be some way to fix that structural deficit. And I won't reiterate the 2029 local income tax transition again. Taking up enough of your time. That's it. If you have questions, Amy has one.
Yes, well, and it's more of a clarification for
Sure.
all of us and the audience. You've made the statement throughout this report of increasing local income tax, and I think it's important to point out that that is an increase from what is written in this report as an estimate.
Correct.
Not an increase for the taxpayer over and above what they are currently paying.
Yes, that's a very good point. I'm not suggesting that you increase your local income tax, which I don't remember right off the top of my head what the total rate is. But that's why it's going to be important for, the must discussions and the discussing with the other units what the total lit needs to be for the county, because the lit county services is only a portion of what the total lit would be. So the 0.5 that we're talking about wouldn't end up being the total lit rate. That would just be the county services that goes directly to the county for use. There would also be fire and EMS lit rate. There could be a non-municipal lit rate, which would go to the townships, the libraries, those types of units. And then there would be a countywide municipal rate, which would go to all of the municipalities under 3,500 and those over 3,500 who opt in to that countywide rate. So the 0.5 is just the portion that you would collect. It is possible that you could collect a portion of the municipal countywide. I don't remember off the top of my head in the lit analysis how much or if that's the case in Lawrence County. But depending on the makeup of the county, if the county makes up a large portion of the population, the countywide portion of it does go to the county as well. So those are all analysis that we can run and make discussions during those types of meetings. So thank you for clarifying that.
Any questions? Okay, very good.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Jeff, I would encourage you to get a copy of this from Martha. At least talk to Martha.
I'll get it electronically.
Okay, very good.
Martha also has it.
safety approval. We need to vote on this one, Martha.
Yes,
Aye.
yes.
Okay.
This is just for the volunteer fire departments. It's what you, have given them in the past. Every year we renew it.
Which ones are included?
Well, that's what I'm looking for now. Guthrie's included, but Shawswick, I thought we removed Shawswick.
We did last year. And we should this year.
I would assume that we have to vote every year and they reserve the right to apply
Correct.
annually.
Okay.
And we do that because,
This is what you guys are giving to them. You don't have to give to each unit, but they are allowed to apply for it.
right,
So Shawswick is in that, and then Marion,
What do we have 3 for Marion?
Because if you will look, it says, Bono on one of them.
we got Bono and
And
here
then
in
you have
it.
regular Marion and then Spice Valley, because Marion Township covers all 3 of those areas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, those are fine. Okay. These are all existing in there now with the exception of Shawswick.
at the proper rate.
Yes.
Then I guess the question is, do you want to put Shawswick back in there and vote on these?
Shawswick has a rate.
No?
Does
They do
that,
have a rate. They have the fire district.
They have their own tax.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. They do, but they don't have a lit rate, because we removed them.
Correct, and that's how if I make the motion, that's how I'm gonna make the motion to approve all of these except for Shawswick.
They, everybody else is,
that also cover Guthrie? Didn't they receive an increased rate because of the fire territory?
we didn't remove Guthrie. I don't think. We
No,
didn't.
Guthrie has their own.
Guthrie has their own. We left Guthrie in there because it's a different township.
Okay, explain it to me, you're gonna have to.
Huh?
You're gonna have to explain it.
Okay,
And,
Shawswick.
and also, let's go back again and review why we took them out last. Guthrie and Shawswick were the ones
Shawswick-
combined, weren't they?
Pardon?
Was that Guthrie and Shawswick combined?
Shawswick services Guthrie.
Yeah.
They, if I understand correctly, that Guthrie no longer has their own
Right.
volunteer fire department.
They combined townships.
Okay.
What that was, we removed them back. They're their own taxing entity when they become a fire territory. We did
I'm
that
familiar
last
with that,
year.
I live in that.
Last year.
Last year was the first year the tax was,
Okay, that's the
but
reason.
they actually implemented it the year before that.
Yeah.
And
Because there's some in there that like, Marion, they're covering 2 or 3. They got 3. And they cover different areas. All of the ones in here now, Indian Creek, the whole 9 yards, these are all existing that we have in there right now, with the exception of Shawswick.
Yes.
These are in,
so if, what I'm saying is then, what's the other one you said that Shawswick is now covering?
Guthrie.
Guthrie.
Okay, so.
Well, they have been.
Yes.
But Guthrie would still get the lit,
Guthrie would still get a portion of it.
a portion of it,
So
which
then,
goes to
would they
Shawswick.
be giving that to Shawswick?
It will go to Shawswick,
Yes,
yes.
because
It goes,
they're merged, those townships merged. Okay.
But Shawswick Fire Territory was removed
From this approval last year.
from this approval last year. So the council's gonna have to decide whether they wanna put Shawswick back in, or if they wanna leave Shawswick out.
And our reasoning for that was because
When they
you
become,
said they're double dipping.
when they,
have a tax rate now.
they have their own tax rate.
If you live in Shawswick Township, and you're not in the city, you pay, Miller told me, I $1 million.
I couldn't hardly believe it. Well, he told me that I was paying $20 extra a month, and I said, a month? I was kind of surprised at that. But it's different for different people. I mean, different wherever your home is.
Okay.
But I'm not for putting Shawswick in.
Martha, can these be done as a stack, or do they need to be done individually? I'm almost saying individual.
If you want to take them individually, you can.
I think you can do it either way.
You can do it either way. Okay, and then, I guess the most,
As long as the minutes recite, all of them individually, you can do it.
okay,
I mean,
let's,
that's up to the council. You want to do it all together or individually.
okay. Is there any question on Guthrie?
I'm confused by it.
Okay, well, Shawswick covers them.
So, and if you leave them in, then they get their money, then they can give it to Shawswick.
But they are covering it and they get no tax, their tax levy doesn't get paid by the citizens of Guthrie, what was
Yeah.
Guthrie Township.
Yeah, if we don't.
So they're
okay,
getting free fire
Yeah.
if we don't allow Guthrie to get the lit.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Guthrie needs to be left.
Okay.
Okay, so that answered that question. So it would be Guthrie, Pleasant Run. And what I'm gonna do is read these off. If anybody has a question on these, stop me, because we're gonna take this as one batch.
What are you taking out?
It's what we're adding in. Right now, it's Guthrie and Pleasant Run Fire Department.
For what?
We're gonna vote here in just a second.
I believe his intention is to vote to approve the distribution of funds with the list that
Either
you're
leave them or
creating
take them out.
right now.
Okay.
Okay, and then Marshall. Marshall is existing.
Well,
Okay, Marion has 3, which would be Spice Valley, Marion, and then what's the other one, Martha? Bono. Okay, so that would put Marion into that. Okay, Indian Creek, which is existing in there now. And Perry. Okay?
Which one was
And Perry would be the last one. So what I want to do, what I think we'll do is we're going to take this, and I'll read them again, as one vote.
As you wish, yes.
And Shawswick, I'm going to bring up as a separate vote because they are not in the lit as of right now. So the council will have to decide on that one. But I'm going to take,
But they're the only one that have their own.
they are a fire territory,
Fire district.
fire territory.
District.
No, not a district. No, they're fire territory. Okay, so this would be Guthrie, and this would leave them in the lit. Pleasant Run, Marshall, Marion, which is Bono, Marion, which is Marion, and the other one is Marion, Spice Valley, Perry, and Indian Creek. So I'm going to call for a motion to leave these in the list as they stand.
Motion to approve all applications from the existing fire department.
Okay, Shawswick is not in this yet.
Correct. They're
Okay.
not
Got
existing in the list.
First from Dustin.
Second.
I got a second from Julie. Any further questions or comments on this? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Martha, that batch is good. Now for the next one, Shawswick, which they are not in the lit right now, they were removed. They're requesting for 2027. which would put them back in the lit, which would also change the percentages, correct, Martha? If they go back in, but they are not in existing lit right now. So I will call for a motion on Shawswick adding them back to the lit. Okay. Hearing none, motion has failed. Martha, they will stay out of the lit.
Do
Okay.
they request, do they file, give you a request? I think we need to vote on it. There needs to be a motion.
There was no motion.
Needs to go to a vote.
I'll make a motion
To,
include Shawswick Volunteer Fire Department in the lid.
To include it?
Second, it's a motion, Janie, it's not a vote. You have to have a motion on the floor to vote on it. You can vote however you want now.
okay,
So you have to make it,
We had to make a motion.
yes.
so I've got, this will keep three of them now. A motion to include Shawswick into the lit from Larry first,
Yes.
Why would you
Dustin
have to make a
second.
motion?
Mhm.
I don't understand that.
Second.
You need a motion, either negative motion to not, or you need to make a record of it,
Yay or nay?
one way or the other.
Gotcha.
Any further questions or comments on this?
If the motion is made, there's no second, the motion fails for lack of second. That's an action.
But it had to be put forth. I got you.
Pardon me?
But it had to be put forth as a motion.
Well.
Either a negative or a positive.
You've been presented with a document that requires action.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
you either have to vote yes or no, and it can be done by a motion to approve, or it can be, in which case it still requires a second. If there's no second, the motion dies for a lack of second.
Okay.
If the motion is to disallow or not to include Shawswick, then that you can vote on that motion too. The motion can be made however the member wants to make the motion.
So that didn't die by no motion made, period.
Was there a motion?
Yes.
Larry made a
Well,
motion.
on the first one, there was no motion.
You can't just die for lack of a motion.
Lack of a second.
Okay, okay.
Let's vote.
We got a first to accept Shawswick back in from Larry. A second from Dustin. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Okay, it failed.
You wouldn't have even had a second, as long as there was a motion made, and then the minutes would just reflect that the motion failed for lack of seconds.
So Martha, they are still not,
What you have on the record now is a motion made and a motion second, but,
It went down 0, is that?
okay.
Yeah.
Marshall, Martha, that is, let's read Marshall, can't you?
we did it both ways.
Okay. All of them are good with the exception of Shawswick. Okay. Now we got through that. And then Jeff left, I think, but Jeff got what he come in. Okay, prosecutor Sam Arthur.
Good evening, council. Apologies for Mr. Arp not being here. I've met most of you. My name is Josh Churchill. I'm the Chief Deputy Prosecutor here for Mr. Arp this evening. So thank you for having us. I'm here today with 2 requests from Mr. Arp. The first is a request to reinstate the line that's been inactive for a while for a certified legal intern. It was previously approved, but it's not been active in quite a while. We have a person who just is taking the bar, I believe, today. And so after he takes the bar, he can, well, even before that, but in this case, we want to start him as a certified legal intern until he gets results back. And once he passes the bar, the intention is to hire him as an attorney in place of in the position that Justin Grant is currently in. And so we want to bring him on as a certified legal intern so that he can be trained up and be ready to hit the ground running on day 1. We have had a vacancy in one of our attorney positions for a little while, so there is some, I guess, unspent funds is probably not the right phrase, but it's what I'm going to I guess, use. So we would ask that we transfer $9,000 from the Fund 1009-11801 into that reinstated line for the certified legal intern, so that we can bring that person on.
Okay, so you've got three things going here, correct?
I was told two, but I could be counting two as one.
Okay, you've got a legal secretary position open, correct?
I can switch to that if you'd like. Yes, sir.
Let's switch to that.
Yes, sir. So we have a legal secretary position that has recently become open. We want to fill that with actually the attorney, the paralegal that Mr. Klein told you he was losing. So we want to bring her in. Previously, when we hired the now former legal secretary, we brought her in on a, I want to say D, because she had no experience. She didn't have college degree. She wasn't experienced at it. The one we're bringing in is very experienced, is currently in a scale E. We reduced the position from an E to a D previously because of the lack of experience. The incoming has that experience to justify reinstating that back up to an E so that her pay doesn't change. It's not a new hire to the county, it's a lateral move within the county, and it would not change her rate of pay at all.
Okay.
And this was clearly spelled out in the salary ordinance previous to this request.
D or E? I thought in the salary ordinance, you have to have a 2 years bachelor, is that correct?
It states in the salary ordinance, if the position of legal secretary holds a bachelor's degree from an accredited college, this will be paid on a wage scale E. You all can make the decision to allow her to be paid on that wage scale based on her experience. If that's what you want, we will have to amend the salary ordinance to state that.
She does not hold a bachelor's.
I don't know the answer to that right now. I know she's been working for Judge Klein, doing similar work for a number of years, and is highly qualified for this position.
You don't know if she has a bachelor's?
I don't know the answer to that currently. I can get you that answer. I don't have that answer for you. I don't know one way or the other.
Okay, do you have any idea?
I do not know
So nobody knows?
if she does or not.
When I talked to his office, they were aware that it would take an amendment to the salary ordinance to do this, but
So apparently they do not have
I
a
don't think
bachelor's.
so. But I don't know that. He was just
Well, if it
He was
says,
just told he would have to ask to amend the ordinance before we could do this.
if it said, if she had, I thought you were coming because she had a bachelor, and that's why you wanted to move her to the E. But if she doesn't have a bachelor, I can't see moving her.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have that answer for you. I would ask then, in that case, to amend the salary ordinance to account for her experience in this field. We cannot train it into somebody very quickly. As Judge Klein told you, it's going to take him 6 months to train up her replacement. She has the skills and experience to justify the E rate. This position was at the E rate previously, and she's currently in the E rate, doing that level of work now, and bringing her in to our office at the same rate.
Yeah, but the previous could have been she had a bachelor's too.
Yes.
So I would feel more comfortable if
We need to find out.
we need to find out.
Otherwise, it's gonna open a can of worms. It could.
Well, there's two ways we could do it. We could actually go ahead, that position is open now.
Yes.
We could go ahead and okay that position, but it would be on the D scale
Until we find out.
Until further
until
questions are answered.
they produce a degree to Martha, correct? They would have,
Yes, they can send it to the payroll deputy.
that is the only way that I see without going to an E scale.
And I know with my discussions with Mr. Arp, his intention was to bring this person in at the E scale, and that's what the discussion with her was, which prompted her to leave the position with Judge Klein.
Yeah. Okay, we can't help that. we're gonna go with the salary ordinance as it stands right now because we don't have anything on whether they've got a bachelor's degree or not.
Yes, sir.
So,
What scale was she on? Is she on currently?
She's currently on E.
but all court employees are on E.
And the legal secretary position that she would be filling, the role that she does supplies all the documents to the court. She files all of the documents to the court that the court reporters then use to give to the judge, to provide to the judge. All of the initial filings, the protective order filings, any filings that we ask the legal secretary to do, they send those to the court, and that court reporter, the position that she's in currently, utilizes those documents that we have, that she has produced, or I guess her former position, whoever's in that position produces and sends over to the court reporter. So this position is the same level of work as what she is doing now. And so it justifies, it warrants the level E scale based on the work output that she can do and will be doing. So I would.
But you gotta understand our side of it, the salary ordinance and without, you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, sir.
So there's two ways we can go, or the third way we could table, which I hate to do, but we could table it until,
Well, I think he plans on bringing her in,
On Monday.
yes,
then
so.
my suggestion would be okay this position, but go to a D scale.
That's your choice. I do know that.
Because if we go to an E scale coming out of there, one, we're going against the salary ordinance, and two, we're opening the door
Well,
for.
we would then amend the salary ordinance at the next meeting for this.
Would her pay be retroactive back to the E scale from the time she started?
If you so make it.
Mr. Chairman, I suggest, and you could do that, but I would suggest that if you're in favor of it, you make a motion to approve it at the higher level, subject to, make it subject to evidence of a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And I think I think you can amend your salary ordinance by voice vote also, unless, have you always done them by written amendments in past, and you've been the salary ordinance?
We've always changed the salary ordinance and they've approved it, and then we submit it.
So when you've amended it in the past, have you always done it with a written ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, well then, subject to the evidence of the bachelor's degree and approval of an amendment of the salary ordinance at your next meeting. So that way you don't have to delay or do the retroactive pay for the higher rate. That's a suggestion.
And may I request, subject to either the furnishing of bachelor's degree or qualifications in lieu of the bachelor's degree to show that she is qualified in that position even without the bachelor's degree?
Well, that's what I was talking about doing. If we went ahead and okayed this position, brought it in as a D scale, which would buy you a month, that way he could go ahead and start her Monday, but it would buy you a month to produce.
I understand that. I would ask that it be approved at the E scale, subject to the coming back before you next month with evidence of her qualifications and skills. That would be my request.
The hard part with that is that I don't think we have defined what those experience and skills would be.
There's not enough information.
I'm not opposed to comparing job descriptions to look at the legal secretary compared to those that work in the court and see if this needs to be I'm gonna say a permanent change because those jobs are comparable. I think that is probably a better long-term approach, since it seems like perhaps it was E and then dropped to D, I'm assuming maybe for budgetary reasons at some point. I respect your request, but I'm not quite ready to move forward with that full definition.
I'm not either. I'll tell you what, sticking my neck out. I will make the motion to accept the hire request at a D scale, pending you bringing either the bachelor's degree back in, the work history, or whatever. And then the council will later, we could do that in the next meeting, which again would buy a month. Then the council can make the decision in the next meeting whether to move it to an E-scale. But this,
Ted, can we retroact the pay to Monday doing that?
council
I
can,
mean,
Here's the thing, if I may, if you make it contingent on her, make it at the higher wage, contingent on her bringing in proof of her bachelor, what if she doesn't have proof? Then do you take it away from her? I mean,
well, that's the reason I made the motion to bring her, okay, the position,
I
but bring it
understand what
into
you're
D.
saying, but I'm trying to figure out what Ted's saying.
Because it's easier to take them up than it is down.
I don't know.
I've got a motion on the table.
Could
Do I
you
have a second?
repeat that motion?
The motion is to fill this one position, which is the secretary's position, at a D scale, pending if they bring in the bachelor's degree, work history, or whatever, and in the next meeting, Sam can get back on, and then the council can decide whether to move it to an E. But by doing it this way, if the person still wants the job or whatever, would allow them to start Monday. That is the motion.
Second.
Okay, I've got a second from Dustin. Any questions or comments on this? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 7-0. That will be, the position is okay at a D scale.
I understand.
So then what you'll have to do is get with Sam and bring back in bachelor's degree, work history, or something where the council can make a decision on redoing the salary ordinance or going down that path.
I understand.
Now, I let Jenny know that Sam would have to put that on the agenda for a salary ordinance change prior to this request.
Okay.
And she said she was gonna let him know.
Okay. I will also relay that, and we will get back before you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So on his second, the line item, he did not send in an additional appropriation
For the
for
CLI,
this. He didn't give me any transfer information, nothing.
Okay, that one, that's all the council can do on this one.
on this one, on the hiring of,
The only thing we got down that was advertised was a hire request, and we just did.
Yeah, he did not send me any paperwork, so if you're gonna transfer,
that's not before you today?
no.
Okay.
No.
So we don't have, if that's a transfer, additional, or whatever, we don't have any
You don't
of
have it before you, so you can't make a
We have
ruling one
nothing.
way or the other. Understood.
No. And if it's additional, it's gotta be advertised what, 10 days?
I will need it by the first Friday in August.
I'll get with Jenny first thing in the morning.
So Jenny needs to know that. So if it goes in whatever you're after, which I don't even wanna know, but whatever you're after, if it comes out an additional,
Yes, sir.
then Jenny needs to get that to her.
Understand. I believe that's all that
By
I have.
August 7th, I will need that information.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe that's all I have
That's all
for
I
you
got for
today.
you.
All right,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff.
Good evening.
How's Greg?
You guys really have to move me up in the agenda. It's every time.
Or provide you with a Red Bull when you walk in.
Well, as long as that door I was watching and didn't open the other way, you were fine.
Okay, I think I've got a few things, but I'll start with the jail population. Before I walked over here 4 hours ago, jail population was 75, 59 males, 16 females. We're holding 17 for DOC, waiting for them to tell us we can bring them. We have 1 parole hold with no local charges, and then we have 0 level 6 felons that are serving their time here. Next thing, I don't have anything to say about it, but I did present you all with the second quarter commissary report. As I told you last time, a bunch of our large payouts are at the first of the year, so it was way down, but you see now we start kind of climbing a little bit, so we've added a little bit to our totals there. But I don't have anything specific unless you had questions on any of that. It's about the same as always.
No, but I appreciate getting this.
I do too. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. And then, I don't know, do you want me to do the additionals or the hiring request next? I don't know what order you want me to do things in.
What do we got up? You've got,
9,000 additional, provision $9,000 first on my list.
Sheriff's sale fund.
Okay,
okay, let's do that first one up Danny's got. You guys got the one on 9,000?
Yes.
Okay, let's take that one, Greg.
okay. So this is an additional from the sheriff's sale fund, in the contract services line. Basically, this is the money that we bring in when we have the sheriff's sales sell the foreclosed leases. So this, I mean, it's an additional, but it's not really because we bring the money in there, it's in there. I just need money moved to this $9,000 moved to the contract services line to keep paying SRI for holding the sales each month. Like every time they sell a property, it's $300 and some that come into that. 200 goes to them, 150 stays with us. So I just need to move the money there to pay them their share going forward. We never know, it's hard to budget because you never know how many you're gonna sell, so we just come in every few months and ask to move some over there to pay that.
Okay, so Greg is requesting 9,000, and this is coming from the sheriff's sale fund, correct?
Yes, sir.
Anybody got any questions for Greg on this one?
Move to approve.
Got a first from Janie,
Second.
second from Larry. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Greg, that one's passed.
Thank you.
And then choose your weapon on the next one, Janie. Which one you
Oh,
got?
I got police car repair.
Okay, Greg, we're gonna go police car repair.
Okay.
Fund 1170?
That'll be 1170, the lit fund.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, again, says additional, but we sold, the commissioners approved us to sell a couple of our old out-of-commissioned cars that one was crashed, one was, I don't know, 15 years old, something like that. So we sold those and we made $6,250 on the auction. That money went into lit because that's what was used years ago to buy those. And I am just asking to move that $6,250 that we just put into lit into the police car repair fund to help us with that.
Need a motion on this one?
So moved.
First from Dustin, second from
Julie.
Julie. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Greg, that one's done.
Okay, thank you.
You're getting closer. Now, Danny, which one you want? Inmate medical.
Okay, this is also the lit public safety fund.
Okay.
Asking for $25,000 additional. Now this is, I'll test your memory a little bit, but back whenever, at budget time, whenever I was cutting stuff and moving stuff around for you all to help balance the budget, $55,000 out of inmate medical was removed from the general fund. We couldn't put it into lit at the time because of what had been advertised. However, we knew back then that I was gonna have to come and ask for that money to pay for our contract and everything with the inmate medical. I am asking for $25,000 of that $55,000 that was promised to be taken care of to be moved into the inmate medical line from the lit fund so that we can help pay our bills, medical
Good
bills.
notes on here.
What's that?
There's good notes
There
on here.
is.
Thank you, I wrote that.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm surprised you can read it. Usually people say they can't read my handwriting.
Oh, we can read it. Okay, this one is for 25,000.
That's what the glasses on.
Move to approve.
Okay, I got a first from Dustin, second from Janie. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Greg, last one. That one passed. Dispatchers. Slash. Okay, dispatcher.
Yeah, so I just have a request for you all to approve to hire 2 dispatchers, or for me to, 2 dispatchers. They're not new positions, they're just replacing 2 that left for various reasons. So just asking that that you guys approve that. We're currently, as you know, we normally have 11 dispatchers, so we're operating with 9, so we're dipping into some overtime funds and stuff now. The good news is that one of the two, I have two already lined up to hire from the previous hiring process that we kind of put on one from that list. And I think he can almost start almost immediately. And then the other one used to work for me for about 1.5 years as a dispatcher, and then left for a bigger department and more money. But he has since reached out, and he's not liking it as much as he thought he would. So he's able to come back, and he'll be fully trained. So I can get him started in about 2 weeks, and he'll just hit the ground running. So I don't even have the 3 months worth of training for him. So that will be good.
Okay,
That's great news.
so this is replacing 2 dispatchers, positions are there. Need a motion on this one.
So moved.
Julie made it first.
I'll second.
I heard Blair on the second one. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passed.
Okay, thank you. And I think that's all I have, right, Martha?
That's it.
Okay,
That is it.
thank you.
Thank you.
That eliminates all of that. We're getting towards the bottom. Okay, McKnight.
Court orders. See, Tim's not here.
Chief
Tim's
Public
not here.
Defender's not here, but there is one other thing I want to bring up under old business, unfinished old business. Tim's not here. Court orders, there is court orders, which does not require a vote. We really don't have any choice. And the totals on the court orders is $5,930. Court orders, and then and I'm trying to play catch up here, and I'm glad you're sitting here, but on this unfinished old business, we brought this up before, there was a meeting, what, Monday?
Yesterday.
Yes, yesterday, that you two went to.
I was there too.
And you were there, that's the 3. And then it was brought that, but you said, made the statement before, that we need to be doing something on this must, correct? Okay. Yeah, because I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. The one thing that, and this was brought up yesterday, that we need a person from the council.
A council representative, and turns out it doesn't have to be a council member.
Okay. It does?
It does not.
What is that?
So the Department of Local Government Finance sent out a memo a few days ago to say that it's their interpretation that the council just needs to select a representative, does not have to be a member of the council, but the council has to vote to approve or to appoint a representative. So it's a representative of your choosing.
So I argued with him.
She did.
I argued with him. I told him I heard very clearly that was an appointment that did not have to be voted on.
Well, this is coming from DLGF,
So
so
this is
things
new.
just keep changing, yes. This is an appointment
Okay,
that has
so-
to be voted on in a public meeting.
It's kind of a,
Okay. I think on the must, we have to do this.
but why wouldn't you want somebody from the council on it?
I would prefer somebody from council.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Myself, I don't know about you guys.
And if you want a
That's
nomination,
natural,
I'll make one.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's not required, I mean.
Yeah.
But
it's
wouldn't-
natural, if you got somebody that's willing to put in the time and do it.
Isn't it understood though, Paige, that the auditor is for sure supposed to be there?
The auditor, anyone can be at these meetings, but the must meetings that I've been attending, yes, definitely the auditor is there. The thing is that whoever you appoint is the voting member. So
I
like,
understand that.
if you don't appoint the auditor, she's not the voting member, but yes, she may attend every meeting.
Right, and my
Yeah.
understanding was anybody is welcome to these.
Absolutely. If you choose to open it up to the public, anybody can attend. And from my experience, I'm working on about 5 of these right now. We're inviting the public.
I have another question to ask.
Okay, sure.
You said formal meetings were open to the public, but discussions were private. How do you make that happen?
That's up to the task force to decide. And the ones I'm working on, we're making every single one a public meeting, but because that's what the task force has chosen to do. You have to open it up to the public if you're gonna have quorum issues. But again, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be open up to the public, but that's a task force decision, so that's just gonna be.
So it's a task force?
It's a task force decision, yeah. Well, municipal unit strategic. Yeah, it's actually, the MUST is a municipal unit strategic task force, and each member on the task force is a voting member of that task force. But these are, you're voting on things that are non-binding. These decisions are not binding.
Did I also, let me go
No,
again.
go ahead.
Did I also understand that, the council sort of is the lead that gets these going?
That's up for debate. If you ask the AIC, the Association of Indiana Counties, they think the intent of the legislation was for the county to lead this. The statute says county with a small c, so we kind of look at it as just the county as a whole is leading this. But certainly it makes sense if the county unit is leading this, but I am working in some counties now where it looks like the municipalities are going to lead it because the county doesn't want to be involved, and that's fine too. So.
The county doesn't want to be involved?
I do have some counties where the county does not want to be involved for whatever reason.
You want to be involved.
Yes, you absolutely. We encourage involvement from everyone, and if the county's leading it, that is the ideal situation, yes.
Because the municipalities may choose not to even participate.
Possible, yes, we encourage participation from all municipalities, but yes, that's very possible.
I mean, in
Yeah.
the
Oh, opting in or out?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and that is something that we can maybe bring to the surface. If you have the MUST meetings, we're gonna ask the municipalities to tell us if they're opting in or out, because we can't develop a report for the legislature unless they say they're opting in or out. But remember, this is non-binding, but still, they need to, we can't finalize the report without that information.
Thank you for those clarifications. Thank you for all that.
And then
Because I know.
the municipalities are 3,500 and greater.
That can have their own, right?
That can have their representative
Or-
on the MUST.
Oh, no, actually, it's every municipality in your county, the clerk, treasurer, or controller is automatically on the MUST, regardless of population.
That wasn't
that's in-
clear. I don't think that was clear.
I
Oh,
didn't get that. at all
no,
out of
so,
that meeting.
so municipalities of 3,500 and above have the option to adopt their own lit or opt into the county-wide.
Okay,
But
but-
the people on the task force is every municipality,
Change one word from municipality to town.
city and town. Municipalities are
Well, the one
cities
we're
and
talking about,
towns.
I think is Olytic.
Yes, they will absolutely be on the task force. They have a seat,
Okay, 'cause-
whether they decide to come or not. But it's, when I say municipality, I mean cities and towns. So it'll be all cities and towns and the county unit,
Okay.
regardless of size, regardless of population.
Okay, that's a big clarification.
We're
Okay.
gonna vote on this person here in just a second, but just for two other points. I've talked to Mayor Bedford.
Okay,
He's willing to play.
Okay.
I've talked to Mayor Mitchell, he's willing to play. I've talked to Olytic, they definitely want in.
okay.
So we need to set this point up. And the second point of this project is that you said you had a nomination for this person. It really shouldn't be me or you.
Oh, absolutely not.
It should not be me or you.
Are you
just-
saying I can't make the nomination?
You can make the nomination, you just don't nominate me and
He's
make-
saying don't nominate yourself.
We can't.
Or don't nominate him.
We're short term. We're short termers.
Yeah, we're out of here.
We're out of here in 5 months, but,
Quit bringing that up. You're looking to fund things.
yes, I'm going to Commissioner seat from here, so, but me and Janie's not, so, but if you've got, somebody you wanna nominate,
Well, I thought about it. I mean, it's open to anybody that wants to be on that as that person, but Larry was at the meeting yesterday and was very, interested enough to show up, and I know he's gonna be, I asked him if he'd be interested in being that person, and he said yes. And so, based on that, I'm gonna nominate Larry as the, Larry Arnold, as the
Point.
point person for the county council.
As the council's representative
Okay.
on the must task force.
What Ted said.
Yeah. So, I assume you're good with this.
As long as the county council's good with it.
Is there anybody else? Okay, then I'll call for the vote. It would be,
Need a second.
you got, you made the
Second.
motion.
I made
Okay,
the
any
second.
second?
Thank you, Julie.
Julie did.
You made the second. Okay. Any more questions on this? Larry?
No.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
I would suggest another motion also, Mr. Chairman. I would suggest that the council authorize Larry as your representative to call the meeting of the statutory members of the MUST task force. And I'll be glad to help, and if he needs any help on any of the paperwork, to call the meeting. Open door law applies to them, so we gotta post them at least 48 hours in advance. They are public, but my recommendation would be to
I would make
authorize
that
that.
motion.
You're taking the lead on it, and you're not,
Right.
'cause it's.
So they know right off.
Yeah, now we need to do this. She was one of the presenters of the program, okay, so, I'm just repeating information that I heard, along with the rest of you. They figure at least 3 meetings, maybe 4 meetings, and it all depends on how quickly you can get the information and input together, and so.
Yes, she said sharing data quickly is, and I told Martha it might be wise for her to just send out 3 potential dates to the other municipalities and let them pick, so they aren't all saying, well, maybe this day, maybe that day, but just send 3 dates and let them pick
You
one.
can authorize
I'm making that motion to authorize Larry as
call the
the,
meeting, I mean, auditors, staff to be in support, but I think you need your representative to be the one to actually call the meeting.
And this has to be done by October 1st.
You need to convene the MUST meeting by October 1st, but you can start now. I'm working with other counties where they've already convened the MUST. and
That's
they're
what I got
already-
out of the meeting.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
already working on.
we have to have something in plan by October 1st. Is that correct?
The
The
plan, we have
report's
to,
not until November.
right, the November 2nd is when we need to submit the plan to the DLGF. You have to at least convene your meeting before October 1st, but I think that's really too late to convene
Yeah.
because there's a lot of
Yeah.
work that needs to take place. I can tell you what we've done in a few other counties is that Baker Tilly has come out and just had an informational meeting. We didn't convene the MUST. We just brought all the people to the table, had an informational meeting to explain the whole thing, what the situation is, what the new framework is. Then we say, are you all ready to convene the MUST? And then the next meeting is the official MUST meeting. You can do it that way as well if you want, but it really does set a good foundation, like an educational foundation, because there's a lot of municipalities that don't really understand what's happening. Why have the MUST? Now, maybe they were on the call on Monday, so that would be helpful, but you can decide what you would like to do.
Okay, so you've
I'm
got,
gonna make that motion that makes it to authorize Larry to be that the county is gonna call the meetings.
Call the meeting of the MUST.
okay, so I've got a motion on the table from
Task
James.
force.
Got a second?
Second.
Got a second from Dustin. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna make one more suggestion.
Martha,
You need to
I
go
wanna
home.
make sure that
The dog wants me to
you
take
put it on those last 2 motions. I abstained.
Mm-hmm.
I think the complexity of this thing is beyond belief, really. And I don't think I think we'll get to the scenarios, the computations that have to be made and the rules. I really think that either the council or maybe the MUST task force needs to consider engaging Baker Tilly.
Well, that was gonna be my next thing, because you guys have already sent,
Yes, we have a scope of services not to exceed $30,000 on the must.
okay, not to exceed 30,000.
Yeah, we will just charge time and expense for whatever time we put into it. So if you get it done in 3 meetings, that's all we have to get charged for. We have to put some sort of cap, we have no idea how long it's gonna take, but you're not held to that number.
Okay.
And
Wendy,
that's in addition to what we already appropriated earlier.
this would be totally separate.
Yeah, this is a separate scope of
This is separate,
services,
just
not the
must only.
financial plan.
This is specifically for must.
But it's not to exceed,
$30,000 is on the,
In other counties, they've been able to split it with the municipalities.
Did
I mean,
you
you can
discuss
break
that with
up.
I did, and actually what we were pending on was, which I talked to Martha, was we were waiting on Mayor Craig. And he was gonna send us back some days that, he seems to be the hard one to get. Mitchell's mayor's not bad. Brogan, out of Oolitic, is good anytime. So it's hinging on Sam's days,
well, we'll just
pushing.
choose the dates and send them to him
Let him
as
pick
Paige suggested.
And you spoke to them and they are maybe willing to pick up
Share
part of
cost.
the.
That, I don't know. They did not commit. There was nothing really said on that. Because right now, it was just getting to the table till we get to this step, and then
tell them how about helping us pay.
and Rick steps back.
I think that would be the first order of business.
Yeah. But that's
If
not.
if they want to participate in something like that,
That's-
if not, they don't participate.
What are the other counties that have your services, what are they spending?
Well, so it's just, we're not too far into the process, but I think we're up to like $5,000 now after a couple meetings. But they're splitting it with the municipalities in different ways. Like one county is splitting it evenly, like there's 5 municipalities, they're just dividing it evenly by 6, the county and then the 5 municipalities. I have another county that's dividing it based on what they levy, their property tax levy, to make it fair. Like some municipalities have very little to spend, so they're just dividing it up. So every time the auditor gets the bill, she then in turn sends out a bill to the municipalities based on however you want to do it.
Or like
But that was agreed upon at the first MUS meeting. Like everyone-
percentage or something, maybe a percentage, and it would perhaps be based on the size of.
Yes, you can also do it by population. It's really up to the task force, so that was all decided at the very first meeting, like first asking the members, and will you agree to chip in? And if so, how would you like for us to divide the bill?
Oolitic doesn't have any money.
No.
They
Well, that's what I was trying to decide there, whether to, and a lot of it will hinge on you now in these meetings, whether to engage Baker Tilly on this must or wait and see the division. That would be a council,
Or wait and see what?
engage them into the must
It sounds
for
to
the
me
not to
like,
exceed 30,000.
it sounds to me like that. Are you saying that's his decision?
No, which, would it be better for them to have that meeting first to see? It really doesn't make a difference, I don't think.
I think it would be wise to have him there at the first meeting.
I mean, we can do that initial informational meeting before you convene the MUS, and we can bring this up and say, hey, you know, the next meeting, we want to convene the MUS, but we need to know if you're going to pay for part of Baker Tilly's cost.
We can go that way. So
The initial meeting is really good to get, if they'll come, get in the room,
they will come.
and then you can convene the MUS the next meeting.
Okay. So no action on that tonight. That can wait.
How fast can you, I'll say, mobilize, because if we would like you before the meeting, when do we need to let you know, hey, this is our informational meeting?
Okay.
Do you have
As soon as
dates
we're,
already?
our availability, we're ready now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
ready now. We've done so many of these that we could work, as long as our schedules align.
And this is something you do in person, is that
Oh,
correct?
absolutely. Yep, I do all the meetings in person.
And the other question I got asked too was, and I couldn't answer that, was on the, who do you want them to bring? you know, is it the clerks, is it,
Well, it has to be by law, it has to be the clerk treasurer.
okay, so the clerk, and
Is there
then
no proxies?
Or if it's been, yeah,
No
No
proxies.
proxies.
no proxies?
No proxies.
Okay,
Okay, it has to, now the mayors can come, but they're not on the task force.
okay. And then council can attend too?
Council can attend, absolutely,
Commissioners can attend, anybody can attend.
anybody can
Anybody
attend.
can attend.
Okay. So I don't see, unless the council has other, do you see engaging Baker Tilly, or you want to wait to see how your meeting comes out, or
I like the plan of an informational meeting first,
first?
and
First.
then convene the must, figure out who's paying for it, but I would be willing to pay for that first information meeting.
Okay.
That's nice of you, Amy. You could make
No.
a motion to authorize.
That's so nice.
I was gonna say,
Larry to negotiate that agreement in the must meeting, whatever they agree to, whatever he concurs with the other members of the task force.
And you will be in that first meeting, correct?
It will either be me or Scott, depending on availability, so we need to figure out what dates, we can send you dates that were available.
I think that'd be the best thing.
Okay, let's
You
do
send
that.
us dates you're available,
Okay.
and then we'll come up with the dates and times and send it out. And I think, I mean, honestly, if they're gonna come down here, we just send them the dates and the times and tell them they need to be here.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like they can't break away for an hour or hour and a half.
So you want another motion to where he can?
No, I don't think you need to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you think, Larry?
Well, I mean, if we have to, if we're gonna start having meetings with the municipalities and open public meetings, I think it'd be better if we had something early on to get all of us prepared and get the information to us, so that when we have an open public meeting, we're not sitting here going, duh.
Yeah.
well, I think the first part you said there a minute ago was allowing him to do,
Authorizing Larry as your representative
Yes.
to,
negotiate.
negotiate,
Yeah.
agree to an amount that doesn't exceed what you've been quoted.
So you want a motion on that one?
I don't know, and I might,
Paige?
No.
Was there a question?
that gives Larry
Do
the
you need
authority
a
to
quote
make the
for
decision.
the first informational meeting? Is that what the question is, or?
No, it's
Okay, I'm sorry.
allowing Larry, once this group comes together, to negotiate for the county.
Oh, I was just talking about the fee part.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The-
Do you know what the fee is on the first
It has to
meeting?
be
Okay.
unanimous anyway.
Okay, we got two things going here.
Yeah, so the task force, certainly Larry can call the task force to meet, but the task force will vote on things, and it's supposed to be unanimous approval. I mean, if it's not, we'll
I
just
think
document
that
it.
just applies to the
Yeah.
report. though.
Yes,
I
that's
mean,
just to the report.
Everything else can be by majority.
Yes, it could just be, yeah. But the, quote for just that initial meeting is not to exceed 2,500.
Okay.
How much
2,500.
for the
It's not a
initial
flat
meeting?
fee, it's not a flat fee, it's not to exceed, so it's my time to come down here, the meeting will only last an hour, and then me driving back.
So I think somebody will make a motion on that one, or,
I move we approve the initial meeting.
okay. Got
I
a
second that.
first and a second that will approve maximum of 2,500 for the first meeting, correct?
The information meeting.
The information meeting. Okay, got a first and second. Any further questions or comments on this one? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Done. So you'll have to work with Larry or
I will send Larry
Ted
some
or
availability.
You have my email?
whichever way this is going.
I'll make sure you get a page.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. I may have it, but I'm not sure.
Anything that's been twisted? Baker Tilly, do you have anything you want to add to, take away from?
I have a question. authorize Larry as your representative to negotiate the amount
Well, that's what I asked.
for each
Municipality.
entity to pay.
Isn't it just information collection? It's non-binding, anything that happens in that meeting with us?
It's informational only, correct?
But that is when you try to go after
Well, the
the,
very first, when us convenes is when we ask them
No, they
if
didn't
they
make a
want
motion,
to
that's
carry.
why I
So
was
not only that can be made when you convene the us.
Okay, so that one can be made later.
Yes, that should be made later, but just keep in mind that if they say, no, we don't want to contribute, then you might have to put the bill. I mean, so far, every county I'm working with, they're all contributing. It's been great.
Okay.
But I guess there's no guarantee.
I think that's a conversation I'll have early with all of them is we have a information meeting that's gonna cost us $2,500 and it's a total of not to exceed 2,500 and another one, the full deal would be 30,000 and we wanna know if we, it would be nice since they're gonna benefit from this, that they would participate and share the cost.
Okay. So I think the other motion at this time, unless somebody wants to make it, I think that needs to wait till
I do
after.
too.
I think that one needs to wait. So unless you've got something to add,
I have nothing to add.
I got one question. You guys all three ride together?
No, we do not.
Did you?
We're on two different teams, like we work for Baker Tilly, but we're on two different
Areas?